Hello? Yeah, Ruben. I'm still up. No, you didn't wake me. Don't worry about it. It's all good. What's going on, man? Yeah, no, the store mechanic's great. No, it's pretty good. Is there anything I can do for you, Ruben? The main phase? What the hell is that? Sure, I'd love to be on your show. What do you want me to do? Alright, cool. Now, why don't you call me anyway? Ruben Bledesco's coming over. What is this thing? Magic Show Junior? The main phase? The hell is the main phase? I thought I was talking to Evan Irwin. I get that you gotta do it in order to get to the end step, but main phase?
Man, how sad is it that Chapin has to appear in the intro to every Magic video? Honestly, come on! It doesn't have to be all about you all the time, Pat. Next thing you know, he'll want his own television show. Oh, that's actually happening? Let's move on. This past weekend, in my continuing effort to qualify for Pro Tour Berlin, I traveled to Detroit for a PTQ. I decided that for the rest of the season, as I said a few weeks ago, I would be battling with Kithkin. To summarize, I went 5-2 in 7 rounds of Swiss, losing to Kyle Goodman and to Brian Six, who was the eventual winner of the PTQ. Not a success, as the entire goal is to end up winning one of these things, but I certainly learned a lot from this tournament, and hopefully I will improve from here. A few quick notes about the deck. For the future, with the decline of Firespout's popularity, the Forge Tender's main deck aren't as important. However, I think that taking them all out would be a big mistake. I'd probably leave 3 in the main deck and put 1 of them in the sideboard. The other thing I would say about the current configuration that I have here is that I dislike Revelark. If you want to bring them in, it requires you to take out Cloud Goat Rangers to keep the curve intact. Furthermore, the increased popularity of Solar Temptation really hampers the Revelark's style. I interviewed Brian Six this past weekend about his PTQ winning deck.
Hi, my name is Brian Six, and I won a PTQ last weekend in Detroit, Michigan, playing his Elementals deck.
Alright, tell me a little bit about it.
Alright, well, I got the idea from Raphael Levy's deck from the Grand Prix. The idea is to use cards like Moldrifter and Shriekmaw and Makeshift Mannequin to generate card advantage on your opponent. You evoke those cards early, mannequin them back, block their creatures, and you just win off the card advantage. And then Revelark brings them all back, and you finish the game off with Horde of Notions.
Yeah, so Raph Levy said that this is the best deck in the format, right?
Yeah.
But it's very tough to play. What do you think about that statement?
I think it's pretty accurate. I know that when I was playing this deck, every game I felt like I was really interacting with my opponent. And I know I played far from optimally the entire day, but the deck is so powerful that you can erase some of your mistakes.
Tell me a little bit about the sideboard. What comes in?
Well, against Kithkin, I bring in these 6 cards, creature control,
okay.
The 4th of each of these.
The Sowers, the Firespout, and the Nameless Inversions, alright?
Yeah. You know, clears the board. Sower's insane against Kithkin.
Right.
Against Fairies, I was bringing in the Wisp-Mares.
And you have 1 of those main deck, right?
Yes, to 2 or 4, and the Eyes of the Wizen.
And then the rest of this board is Fulminator Mages and Puppeteer Click, and that's for the Vivid Pool decks?
Yeah, any 5-color decks. Really though, I didn't bring in Fulminator Mage once all day, and I think I would probably cut that from the sideboard. I'm not sure what to replace it with, but it was almost like a dead card. I just never really wanted it. As far as the main deck goes, I really didn't like Incandescent Soulstoke at all.
The Singleton Soulstoke?
I see a lot of lists playing 4, and in testing I just thought it was really weak. It did very little for the game, and it was okay, but to invest the card into that card itself, I didn't like it. And I would probably change that to an extra Makeshift Mannequin, or possibly Revelark.
I want to talk a little bit about some of this interesting card choices you made. I'll start out with the 1 main deck Crib Swap. How was that for you?
Yeah, well, I mean, Raphael Levy's deck had 4 Nameless Inversions. But we decided that the fourth crib swap was better than, or the first crib swap was better than.
This was the fourth nameless version.
Because this kills Doran and Huna, Horde of Notions, still other problem creatures. It's really not that much worse than the nameless version on its own, and you get Harbinger for it to tutor it up against those cards. Fester Creature's kind of the same way. It replaced the fourth Fire Skull that I used to have.
I see. The other interesting cards that, the other interesting card, I should say, that I saw in your deck was the one Eyes of the Wisent over here. Let's take a good look at this guy.
Yeah. I know against my friend Dylan Austin in round 5 of the PTQ, he was playing Fairies, and I was going to play game 3.
Right.
Turn 1, I Harbinger for Eyes of the Wisent. Turn 2, I casted Eyes of the Wisent to resolve. And his hand was full of Spellstutter Sprites and Broken Ambitions and Cryptic Commands. They were almost like dead cards, and I just coasted to victory from there. I didn't have much gas other than that card, but it almost did it on its own. Really powerful option against Fairies. And or other like control heavy or counter heavy decks.
So you said that this was the deck to play.
I think so.
Previous to Eventide. Of course, right now we're at the Eventide pre-release. What changes do you think might happen to the deck before the next Grand Prix?
I'm sure the mana base is going to change. We get the new filter lands. I'm sure you can find a better configuration than what I have now. I think that you might want to look for some powerful instants for more gaming against Fairies, such as Makeshift Mannequin and Cloud Thresher, so that just more options against them might help.
Especially now that they have Puppeteer Click,
yeah,
they can blow you out.
Really good against me. It's hard to beat, and it's a really powerful deck. I would definitely recommend anyone try it. It's just every game you win, your opponent has like no permanence. You have a full grip of 7 cards and an active Horde of Notions. The game's just out of reach for them. So
this was the last PTQ of the season without Eventide, so the things I learned and the conclusions I have drawn may be unimportant anyway. Speaking of which, this weekend we got to see Eventide in all of its paper glory for the very first time. Spoilers are fun and all, but there's something about holding the physical cards in your hand that can't be replicated. Although those of you that exclusively Moto may disagree. Since it'll be a while before Eventide's full effect becomes evident, let's take a look at what some ringers that I know think will be gassy and what they think will be looser than... You know what, this joke can't end well. Let's just go to the interviews. Well, that's all I have for this week. My name is Ruben Bressler, and remember, 10-cent commons beat $10 rares every single time.
We got a new pacifism. Wonder if this is any good. It's 2 and a white, enchant creature. Enchanted creature can't attack or block. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may gain a life.
Why would they make sure to mention that you may gain a life?
It's so weird when they decide when to template which cards are gain a life and which ones are you may gain a life.
That seems like a really odd one.
Honestly, if they're like, it seems pretty clear that Wizards needs to take matters into their own hands and tell Magic players, you must get a life. I try to keep a straight face.